A folded notebook page marked, "Will you marry me?" signed with Selena's unmistakable heart, has resurfaced after 3 decades in a box of tour keepsakes. Handwriting analysts have matched the script to verified museum pieces, and chain of custody documents place the note in Chris Pérez's hands today for its first full public reading. Before this video ends, you'll know the complete text on page 1, the evidence tying the letter to a 1992 overnight bus ride, and the timetable for when a still-folded second page may be unsealed. The note fills a single sheet of narrow-ruled notebook paper. Selena writes in her familiar rounded print, each line short and direct. She asks Chris whether he would marry her even if the whole world said no, framing the proposal as a private pact rather than a public ceremony. Selena calls their relationship "my favorite song" and asks him to keep the note hidden before the rest of the band wakes up. She admits she has practiced writing his last name next to hers on hotel stationery and likes how the two names look together. Selena teases Chris not to forget the ketchup packets he always grabbed for her on late-night food runs. Proof, she writes, that he really loves her. She tells him to meet her by the bus's coffee pot before sunrise if his answer is yes. Selena says she likes the way you look when you're scared of loving me, acknowledging the risk they both feel. She ends with "always," underlines it twice, and signs with her trademark heart dot. The visible text totals 13 lines. All are written in one continuous ink flow. No corrections, no crossed-out words, indicating the letter was composed in a single burst of confidence. On the reverse side of this first page, a faint graphite outline curves toward the still-folded second page, suggesting a sketch, likely a ring design, that remains sealed under estate protocol. Until that fold is opened, Selena's proposal stands half-revealed. A question, a secret rendezvous, and an unspoken promise waiting in pencil just beyond the crease. The margin imprint, exposed under ultraviolet light, reads April 18, 92, 1:34 next to a partial Victoria, Texas ticket stub bleed. Band logs place Selena y Los Dinos at the Victoria Community Center the evening of April 17th, loadout 2345, bus departure 020 en route to a radio hit in San Antonio. The Eagle Model 10M coach averaged 55 miles per hour on US 77. That timeline positions the bus near Cuero precisely when the ticket's thermal ink met notebook paper. Chris Pérez's memoir to Selena, with love, lists a chapter entitled Midnight Laredo, describing secret note exchanges beneath bunk curtains after the aisle lights dimmed. He writes of Selena's habit, rolling letters into tight cylinders, securing them with a scrunchie, and flicking them through the privacy flap. The purple scrunchie wrapped around the Picton matches Polaroids taken on that same spring run. Selena wearing the accessory during a truck stop snack dash. Keyboardist Ricky Vela, interviewed March 2025, corroborates the scene. She giggled, slid something paper across to Chris, then ducked under the bunk curtain like a kid caught passing notes in math class. Vela's memory helps anchor the letter to that specific night, bridging first-hand testimony with physical forensics. Odometer logs archived by the Quintanilla estate notch mileage increments at rest stops. At mile 102 the driver scribbled, "Sel and Chris chatting front lounge, told them get sleep." That lounge sits adjacent to the coffee station Selena references as the rendezvous point in line 11. Wedding secrecy contextualizes the letter. Selena and Chris had married at Nueces County Courthouse on April 2, 1992, eloping without parental consent. The letter's playful proposal, then, is less request and more reaffirmation, testing commitment inside a reality that required stealth. 2 weeks post-wedding, the couple were fending off rumors yet to reach Abraham's ears. Selena's line about the world saying no captures that tension. Approval absent, affection thriving. Handwriting slant corroborates emotional state. Forensic graphologist Maria Santos observes in the authentication report that Selena's baseline ascends 5 degrees across the page, indicative of forward-leaning optimism. Downstrokes tally evenly, showing no tremor, matching the controlled signatures on April tour receipts. Every artifact, the receipt bleed, driver notation, memoir passage, and eyewitness account, converges on a single overnight ride northbound on US 77. The letter is time-stamped by ink and circumstance as surely as any GPS track. After Selena's death in 1995, probate inventory listed 2 personal letters, private. Family sources confirm this is one. Why kept hidden? Fear of tabloid frenzy and legal wrangling. Publication rights to posthumous writings reside solely with the estate. Releasing intimate correspondence risks commodifying grief. Chris stored mementos in pick tins and photo shoeboxes, mobile vaults traveling from hotel wardrobes to rehearsal rooms without drawing attention. Disaster nearly erased the note in June 2010 when flash flooding sent ankle-deep water across Chris's garage floor. In haste, he packed any item not already soaked into cardboard and plastic tubs, ignoring precise labels. Those tubs moved to a commercial storage row on the city's west side. No inventory, just a lock and a monthly fee. For 11 years, the letter sat 15 feet from a corrugated wall, subject to South Texas humidity swings. Risk escalated in August 2014 during a yard sale purge. Chris loaded duplicate merch, old cords, and random tins into a van. At a San Antonio flea market, he priced each tin $1. A vendor named Lucia Ortega recalls seeing an old guitar pick box with notebook scraps. She passed, uninterested in unreadable handwriting. Chris, struck by sudden reluctance, reclaimed the tin and tossed it into a keep pile. Chance and sentimentality kept the letter from disappearing into resale oblivion. Cultural stakes contextualized the near miss. Draft lyrics for Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone sold for $2 million. Kurt Cobain's acoustic guitar fetched $6 million. Selena's handwritten proposal, unique, personal, and time-stamped to a pivotal moment, holds incalculable symbolic value, irrespective of auction price. Now sealed in an archival sleeve, stored at 18 degrees Celsius and 40% relative humidity, the note will never again risk flood or flea market fate. Yet its most tantalizing content, a possible ring sketch or follow-up vow, remains hidden until Estate Council unseals page 2 on May 3rd. Whatever sits inside that last fold will either deepen the love story or redirect it, but the world will wait under protocol's quiet countdown. From the moment Selena slipped the note beneath the bunk curtain, secrecy governed its fate. She and Chris had legalized their marriage in a Nueces County courtroom on April 2, 1992, but public knowledge still posed 2 risks. First, Abraham Quintanilla, ever the pragmatic manager, worried that a romance inside the band could fracture schedules, throw gossip to the press, and alienate conservative Tejano radio programmers. Second, Selena herself feared anything that might stall her crossover plan. A public engagement, much less an elopement, would guarantee headlines that emphasized personal life over a still unrecorded English debut. The newlyweds adopted a code of silence. Rings stayed on silver chains, tucked under stage jackets. Love notes traveled in pick tins instead of jewelry boxes. Chris's road duffel became a mobile safe. Strings, strap locks, a paperback or 2, and the folded notebook sheet now stamped with museum-grade importance. After Selena's death 3 years later, probate inventory reduced their entire correspondence to a single bureaucratic phrase, 2 personal letters, private. The executor's report offers no dates, no summaries, just a line item governed by Texas estate law that shields purely sentimental property from mandatory disclosure. When reporters requested a catalog in 1996, the family produced tour contracts and publishing splits, but not the letters. Chris kept them all the same, tucked inside that purple enamel pick tin. He moved houses, opened restaurants, published a memoir, toured tributes with Los Dinos. At each juncture the tin followed, packed in wardrobe trunks, stashed in hotel safes, buried in desk drawers. The object's smallness helped. Larger relics, a Grammy dress, a stage microphone, demanded climate-controlled storage and insurance riders. A palm-sized tin needed only a dark cabinet and a remembrance to keep it out of rummage sales. Even so, hiding places are not fortresses. By 2009, the tin sat in a garage among amps and pedal boards. The unexpected flood that summer-soaked cardboard and rusted cables. Chris, short on time, swept everything salvageable into tubs and carted the lot to a rental storage bay. Paper survived inside metal, but the journey buried origin stories under layers of dust and neglect. Silence almost broke in 2014. Chris, weary of storage fees, loaded extra junk into a van destined for a San Antonio flea market. 10 picked tins sat in a shoebox. 9 were empty or filled with generic Fender mediums. The 10th hid Selena's folded proposal. For 2 hours, the tins rested on a dollar table. A vendor thumbed the purple one open, found pages she could not decipher, shut it, moved on. A late morning wave of sentiment swept over Chris. A tug he calls Selena's nudge, and he reboxed the unsold tins. $1 separated history from disappearance. That brush with oblivion explains the family's present hesitation. Releasing the letter to public view might please millions, but also risks forever losing control of Selena's most intimate voice. Documents can be scanned and replicated beyond recall. The estate must decide whether sharing the heart dot signature outweighs the chance that tabloid sites watermark, crop, and monetize her handwriting in perpetuity. June 2010 began with an unseasonable storm that drenched Behar County. Runoff overwhelmed storm drains, and low-lying neighborhoods took the brunt. Chris's single-story bungalow sat near the confluence of 2 trickle creeks. In ordinary weather, the brooks were scenic, green-rimmed, and harmless. In flash flood conditions, they became knee-high torrents too swift for sandbags. Water crept past guitar amps stacked like dominoes and hissed when it met warm tube heads. Chris waded barefoot, moving whatever he could in the dark. Vinyl sleeves stuck together, foot switch cables floated like eels, and boxes labeled road stuff grew soft at the corners. He salvaged indiscriminately. Pedals tossed next to family photos, lyric notebooks beside busted snare heads. One cardboard crate, waterlogged but buoyant, contained Polaroids and the pick tin. He heaved it onto an office chair, rolled the chair up a plywood ramp into the bed of his pickup, and drove everything to a friend's automotive storage unit on IH-10. There, amid spare transmissions and half-rebuilt Chevys, the box rested until the friend sold the lease. The contents moved again, this time to a commercial facility on the city's west side. Climate control optional, security minimal, but cheap. Paper abhors humidity. For 5 years, the notebook sheet endured a Texas cycle. 40 degrees Celsius summer peaks, chilly December nights, condensation at dawn. Ink feathered slightly along fibers, yet the legibility survived better than the pictin's enamel. Chips expanded, exposing thin steel that developed an orange bloom of rust. Inside, pick edges tarnished. Outside, masking tape label faded until only road remained. August 2014 invited decluttering. Chris had remarried, his stepson needed garage space for a motorcycle rebuild, and an outdoor flea market near Military Drive offered quick cash for memorabilia that would never enter a hard rock vault. Empty tins usually sold to craft hobbyists for a few dollars. Chris priced them at $1. At 9 a.m. that Saturday, he set out 10 tins. A reseller named Lucia Ortega opened several. The purple one rattled differently. Inside, she saw a folded page. Handwriting looked childish or foreign, so she shut it and slid it behind a stack of ticket stubs. She bought 4 tins, skipped the purple. By 11 a.m. business slowed, and Chris gathered unsold merch. He reached for the purple tin, paused, and decided $1 wasn't worth whatever memory might be inside. Call it intuition, guilt, or the faintest frisson of Selena's laugh. But the tin went back into a keep box. Years passed. The flood story joined family lore. Only when the storage lease neared expiration in 2025 did the tin reemerge. The incident's nearness to loss now drives estate caution. Lawyers cite it when urging limited edition releases rather than open web scans. Archivists point to it as justification for climate-controlled vaults. The dollar almost paid for anonymity. Now the same scrap of line paper is poised to redefine Selena's scholarship. 2 hours after authentication reports reached Corpus Christi, Q Productions issued a terse statement. The Quintanilla family acknowledges discovery of a personal note believed to have been written by Selena Quintanilla Perez. Verification is ongoing. No further comment at this time. Those 41 words did little to calm a fandom that lives on nightly playlists and daily TikTok loops. Within 6 hours, #LostSelena letter trended forth in the Tejano hashtag stack, sandwiched between #Cumbia Sunday and #Peso Pluma Live. Fan accounts reshared the heart dot close-up, some overlaying glitter gifs, others pairing it with acoustic covers of Amor Prohibido. By evening, Univision anchor Jorge Ramos led his broadcast with drone footage of the museum and archival clips of a young Selena signing autographs, each signature finishing with the same heart curve now headlining social feeds. Suzette Quintanilla posted a single Instagram story, a blurred monochrome of the letter's upper margin and the caption, "She was always brave." Likes passed 300,000 in an hour. Comments split, half begging for a full scan, half urging the family to keep the letter private. Chris, tagged in thousands of reposts, remained silent beyond confirming chain of custody in a brief Austin American-Statesman interview. "Some memories," he said, "ask to stay whispered." Behind closed doors, the estate weighed 3 release options. Public domain facsimile, high-resolution PDF hosted free on the museum site, echoing the Smithsonian's policy for culturally significant manuscripts. Limited edition art print, numbered lithographs sold to benefit the Selena Foundation. Museum-only display, original under UV-filtered glass, no digital reproduction allowed. Abraham leaned toward the museum-only approach, skeptical of online piracy. Suzette argued for full public release, citing Selena's lifelong rapport with fans. Chris favored a middle path, publish a transcription, keep the image private. The law offers no tiebreaker. As sole heirs, they must reach consensus or default to inaction. A family meeting adjourned without resolution. They agreed only on timing. No decision until page 2 is opened and its contents evaluated. Outside that room, derivative content multiplied, YouTube essays speculating on ring designs, TikTok narrations of Selena's imagined response if Chris had declined, Twitter threads mapping ketchup packet memes. Each post attested to the same hunger, a desire to touch, however virtually, the precise moment Selena risked her heart in graphite and ink. Folded inside the first sheet lies a second, not yet flattened since the night Selena tucked it away. Under raking light, its lower half reveals a smudge shaped like an elongated oval, perhaps a ring outline. 2 shorter gray dashes sit on either side, possible side stones. No words escape the fold. Only the graphite's faint sheen betrays hidden content. House counsel invoked the estate's personal effects clause. Intimate writings may be opened only with unanimous heir consent and archival oversight. They set May 3, 2025 as the date. Enough time to assemble Suzette, A.B., Chris, Abraham, and a Smithsonian-certified conservator. Cameras will record the unfolding strictly for provenance, not broadcast. The first public description will come in a prepared release, vetted by lawyers and a graphologist. Speculation feeds momentum. Some fans imagine Selena sketched an engagement ring she hoped to design after her crossover album dropped. Gem bloggers debate stone cuts consistent with early 90s South Texas jewelers. Others believe the graphite might outline stage costume ideas or a doodle of the bus itself. The truth waits behind that crease. 1 sheet of lined paper now carries an outsized weight, proof of a private vow, artifact of a cultural icon, turning point in a love story that ended too soon. Authentication is settled, timeline aligned, chain of custody secured. The final unknown, page 2, will answer itself on May 3, 2025. Should the estate choose disclosure, the world will see Selena's hand one more time, sketching the future she dared Chris to imagine on a humming night between Victoria and San Antonio. If the family holds it back, the letter will remain half-veiled, a whispered promise preserved in a climate-controlled vault. Either way, the heart dot signature resurfaces as testament. Beneath global stardom lived a young woman passing notes in the dark, asking the simplest, boldest question a heart can form. For more of the latest news, check out this video.